Luo Feng swiped his finger across the lockbox. The box automatically opened. On the top of the box was a manual. Luo Feng opened it and couldn't help but to laugh. The description is quite detailed. The Black God Set, Soaring Shuttle, Instruction Manual, Spirit of Nature. All of them have detailed descriptions. There are only 3 items here. There's no instruction manual for the Spirit Reader Basics. Luo Feng lowered his head and started flipping through the items in the box. Indeed, there were only 3 packaged items in the box: Soaring Shuttle, Black God Set, and Spirit of Nature. As for the Spirit Reader Basics instruction manual, there was none. How come there's no instruction manual? Luo Feng carefully read the manual. The manual explained that the Spirit Reader Basics instruction manual is extremely secretive, so it won't appear as a physical instruction manual. There's only one way to learn it. Enter the virtual space and read the instruction manual in the virtual space. Holy! Entering the virtual space to read an instruction manual that belongs to you is way too cautious. It must be very important or else the head wouldn't do this, thought Luo Feng. After that, he yelled towards the air, Hongning Headquarter City Map. After Luo Feng spoke, a hologram appeared in front of him. A detailed map of Hongning Headquarter City appeared. The map could be adjusted to Luo Feng's will, so he quickly found a place on the map. Other than using the map to confirm the destination, you can also dictate it. As long as the AI system can confirm the location. Destination Elite Training Camp. Luo Feng tapped with his finger. The dark blue triangular fighter jet swiftly rose into the air and attracted the attention of quite a few people in the Dojo of Limits headquarters. Quite a few people were envious. However, they couldn't tell that it was an autojet just from its appearance. Even many people on Earth didn't know about the existence of autojets. The difference in price between an autojet and a regular fighter jet is extremely shocking. The sky was already dark, and the elite training camp was very quiet. There were only a few Wargod teachers in the entire training camp. Now that the students were all going on a life or death adventure, many of the Wargod teachers had left the training camp. Some had gone home and some had gone sightseeing. Only a few remained here. The students' life and death adventure month is also the Wargod teachers' vacation time. Silence. A dark blue triangular fighter jet descended like a ghost. As it descended, the hatch opened and Luo Feng dashed out like lightning while carrying the silver box. As for the triangular fighter, it slowly landed and then closed the hatch, motionless. Hey, why is there a fighter jet here? I don't know. Where did it come from? The 2 staff members of the training camp looked at the triangular fighter in astonishment. To be able to enter the training camp, they must have special privileges. They're probably an advanced level Wargod, or even an existence surpassing the Wargod level. The 2 staff members couldn't help but stare at the fighter jet for a long time. Even the family members of the Ares teachers who stayed behind in the training camp noticed the fighter jet. But no one knew who it was. Since the fighter jet landed too suddenly and Luo Feng escaped too quickly, only the patrolling guards at the entrance barely saw a shadow fly out of the fighter jet. In the study on the 2nd floor of Jiang-Nan Pavilion, the silver box was already opened. Inside there was only the packaged Black God Set and the Soaring Shuttle. As for the Spirit of Nature, Luo Feng placed it in the autojet. Since he'll be returning to Jiang-Nan Headquarter City soon, the Spirit of Nature was extremely safe in the autojet. The Black God Set is quite simple to use. Luo Feng looked at the instruction manual. As long as a person wears the Black God Set, it will automatically seep into their skin and absorb their blood. After absorbing some blood, the Black God Set will mutate, causing the entire Black God Set to become extremely compatible with the person's body, just like the person's skin. Moreover, it completely follows the person's will. This was a pure white plastic box. It was only 20 centimeters long and wide, and the Black God Set was stored inside. Rip. Luo Feng tore open the plastic box. Inside the box there was a seemingly thick black glove. If I didn't read the instruction manual, I wouldn't be able to imagine that this thing is a Black God Set. Luo Feng let out a smile. Actually, the Black God Set has different shapes. It can appear as a glove, a vest, a hat, a pair of pants, or even a ring. No matter what, there's no difference. Because once you wear it, you can change it as you wish. Black God Set. Luo Feng picked up the black glove and took a deep breath. After that, he put on the black glove on his left hand. Luo Feng silently waited. At first he didn't feel anything at all. After around 30 seconds, his left thumb felt like it was being pricked by a needle. The entire black glove was like boiling water as black droplets of water trembled. At the same time, waves of pain came from Luo Feng's 5 fingers, palm and back of his hand. Luckily the pain wasn't too strong. One could see with the naked eye. Strands of red flowing into the black droplets. Countless black droplets wrapped around Luo Feng's left hand. After the strands of red entered the black droplets seemed to undergo some sort of change. The entire process lasted for around 15 minutes before everything stopped. Him? How mysterious. Luo Feng felt that his left hand could almost feel the wind blowing past him. Yes, this black glove was like the skin of his body, it was a part of his body. Change. Luo Feng silently stared at the black glove. Suddenly, a black light swiftly spread and continuously covered Luo Feng's entire left arm. At the same time, a portion of the black light left his body and directly spread to his right arm. At the same time it spread to his legs, neck and face. This is too mysterious. Luo Feng walked to the mirror beside him and looked at himself in the mirror. Under the clothes, his entire body was covered with a layer of black skin. Even his face became black, only revealing his eyes, nose and mouth. Throwing knife, Luo Feng grabbed an SS-grade throwing knife beside him and slashed at his arm. However, as if he was slashing at an incomparably tough leather, not even a mark was left behind. Change? LuoFeng's thoughts moved. Suddenly, a black cape appeared on his body, and then a black suit appeared on his body. Change? A black hat appeared on his head, then a helmet and even a black tie appeared. Nighttime. Around 300 kilometers away from Hongning headquarter city in the wilderness. The night wind blew and a black flowing light pierced through the air. How satisfying. Luo Feng was currently in midair. Under his feet was a shuttle-shaped object that was completely silver gray. This object was in the shape of a strip, with two sharp ends and a bit thicker in the middle. Its length was 81 centimeters, its two ends were incomparably sharp, and its middle was the widest with a width of 27 centimeters. Its entire body was rather thin, and its entire body was covered in extremely dense markings. Ho ho! As he flew, the horrifying wind that was formed followed the dense markings and formed waves of air. Countless markings formed large amounts of air waves, which strangely formed one body. They followed Luo Feng's body and formed a visible, streamlined air barrier. This was a barrier completely formed by the air waves. When flying, the faster you go, the greater the air resistance. However, when Luo Feng stood on the soaring shuttle, the air waves that were created actually formed a perfect streamlined air barrier, causing the air resistance to decrease to an astonishing level. Whoosh! Luo Feng was like a black bolt of lightning as he flew freely in the wilderness. This soaring shuttle sure is a great treasure. Luo Feng was extremely excited. When I stand on the soaring shuttle, my speed is more than twice as fast as before. Luo Feng specially stood on the shield and flew the same distance on the soaring shuttle. He flew for 2 minutes and 32 seconds on the shield, while he only flew for 1 minute and 12 seconds on the soaring shuttle. After that, Luo Feng found a specific area that was around 10 kilometers long to test his speed. According to my test just now, my maximum speed on the ground is around 720 meters per second. Without using spiritual force, I can run at a speed of 561 meters per second with the strength of my legs. And when I fly on the shield, I can run at a speed of around 618 meters per second. Spirit readers or existences surpassing the Wargod level usually run faster than fly. When running on the ground, he could still use his telekinesis to assist him, and he could also use the strength of his legs. Existences surpassing the Wargod level rely on special methods to fly in the air. On the ground, they can rely on special methods and their legs. When I stand on the soaring shuttle, my speed can reach an astonishing 1,300 meters per second. Tonight, Luo Feng's first goal in the wilderness was to hunt a high-level horde leader-level monster. He killed a golden ape before, so now he only needs to kill one more high-level horde leader-level monster. Then, with the materials from 2 high-level horde leader-level monsters, he can obtain the title of Advanced Wargod. And his second goal was to come to the wilderness and properly test out the power of the soaring shuttle. He's already tested out the soaring shuttle's first advantage: speed. Even some existences surpassing the Wargod level can't compare to me when I stand on the shield and fly in midair. For example, Representative Far. Luo Feng was in high spirits, and now that I'm standing on the soaring shuttle, my speed in midair has reached an astonishing 1,300 meters per second. You have to know that every bit of increase in speed is extremely difficult. With his legs, his speed is 561 meters per second. With his spiritual force standing on the shield, his speed is 618 meters per second. And with the two combined, his speed is only 720 meters per second. Clearly, the higher you go, the more air resistance you have to overcome. And Luo Feng's speed instantly reached 1,300 meters per second. Even existences surpassing the Wargod level can only reach this speed on land. If they fly, don't even mention 1,300 meters per second, even surpassing 1,000 meters per second? Both are difficult. Thankfully, Hong isn't a spirit reader. Plus, he got the cloud contact vine. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't have given this treasure to Luo Feng. Let's test out its attack methods. Luo Feng immediately descended and landed on the ground. The soaring shuttle floated in front of him. Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat. Immediately, 6 blades detached from the soaring shuttle. Each blade was curved and extremely thin. According to the instructions, each blade is quite powerful and extremely suitable for a spirit reader. Oh yeah. The instructions also said that the soaring shuttle can be completely disassembled. Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat and he tested it out. Immediately, the soaring shuttle instantly disappeared. There were many thin and small blades floating in the air. A total of 365 blades. The entire soaring shuttle is made of these 365 blades made with special materials and special methods. On the morning of the second day, the bustling streets of Hongning headquarter city were filled with cars. The interior of a 6-wheeled Hummer was extremely spacious. Other than the driver's seat in the front, the back was like a lounge. There was a soft sofa and a fridge in the car. However, a gigantic backpack took up most of the space in this lounge. Luo Feng sat on the sofa by himself. After spending an entire night in the wilderness, Luo Feng became a bit familiar with the soaring shuttle. At the same time, he found a high-level horde leader-level monster and killed it. Maybe. For a regular advanced level Wargod, it's extremely difficult to kill a high-level horde leader. This is because the high-level horde leader runs too quickly and there are countless monsters following it. However, Luo Feng's soaring shuttle far surpasses the speed of the horde leader. The horde leader had nowhere to run and was killed by Luo Feng. The monster materials are all prepared. I'll first get the title of Advanced Level Wargod. Luo Feng looked at the tactical communications watch on his wrist. Hello, Luo Feng made a call. Hello, sir. This is the Limit skyscraper. Would you like to make a reservation? A gentle voice rang. It was first in Chinese then in English. Luo Feng directly said, I'm looking for one of your managers. I want to sell monster materials. Most of our business is handled by the manager, explained the receptionist. The total price of this business is over 10 billion Chinese dollars. After Luo Feng said this, the person on the other side froze for a bit and then said, Sir, when will you arrive? In 15 minutes, answered Luo Feng. I still don't know your name, sir, the receptionist asked for the record. Luo Feng. I've made a reservation for you, Mr. Luo Feng, to meet with manager Jiang in 15 minutes. The receptionist's attitude became much better. Keep in mind that this is the Dojo of Limits, not the HR Alliance, to be able to sell monster materials for over 10 billion Chinese dollars. The HR Alliance's prices are usually higher, while the Dojo of Limits prices are much lower. However, there are contribution points. In the Dojo of Limits, only high-level horde leaders can sell monster materials for over 10 billion Chinese dollars. Is a normal person able to sell monster materials of this level? The Limit building was an 88-story skyscraper. It was a landmark building in Hongning Bay City. Hongning Headquarter City was the headquarters of the Dojo of Limits. There were a lot of fighters in the Dojo of Limits, so the daily flow of people in the Limit skyscraper was naturally very large. The majority of people were drinking and chatting in the lobby bar on the first floor. Mr. Luo Feng. Two women in suits greeted them at the door. Let's go. Luo Feng wore a black battle uniform and carried a 2 m tall backpack with one hand. Under the guidance of two female attendants, they walked through the lobby and entered the elevator. Wow, the backpacks are at least 2 meters tall. Just how many monster materials do you have? Different languages from all over the world rang out. A martial artist's backpack was indeed made up of layers. If all of them were unlocked, it could reach a very large capacity. But very few people stored so many materials. In the elevator. Backpack. Luo Feng grabbed the black backpack with one hand and couldn't help but to smile. Actually, this was not the backpack that he had bought before, but the backpack that the Black God set had extended into. For example, Phantom Demon Catalan had the Black God set, so he was too lazy to use his backpack or combat uniform. Ding. The elevator door opened. 32nd floor. Under the guidance of the female attendant, they entered a spacious living room. In the living room sat a woman who seemed to be around 40 years old. Hello, Mr. Luo Feng, my last name is Zhang, smiled the woman named Zhang. Voila. Luo Feng directly opened the backpack's lock and poured all of the monster materials in the backpack into the pond on the side. This scene caused the woman named Zhang to be a bit surprised. However, when she saw the materials that were poured out, she couldn't help but to take in a breath of cold air. This was because there were 3 extremely obvious sharp spikes. The spikes had blood-colored spots on them. Komodo T, Rex, the woman named Zhang couldn't help but to yell out. You can leave first. The woman named Zhang waved her hand towards the female attendant beside her. This female attendant works here, so she knows quite a bit about the different types of monsters. After hearing Komodo T Rex, she looked towards Luo Feng in shock. Yes, supervisor. The waitress hastily responded and left. Komodo T Rex's spikes? From the color and size, it's a high-level horde leader. The woman named Zhang couldn't believe it. Komodo T Rex is one of the most terrifying high-level horde leader monsters. Most people on Earth call it a Tyrannosaurus. However, many people have deduced this from the clues left behind by the Komodo subordinates. Komodo T Rex should be the most terrifying of all the variants of the Komodo monitor lizard that mutated before the Grand Nirvana period. And those 3 spikes are the most precious spikes on the Komodo T Rex's back. Any monster that has the word dragon attached to it isn't easy to mess with. Even most advanced level wargods can't kill a high-level horde leader, Komodo T Rex. Take care of all of the materials here, Luo Feng frowned. I still have things to do. Alright, Mr. Luo Feng, said the woman named Zhang. Soon enough, the woman named Zhang used a machine to examine the materials. The results of the examination shocked the woman named Zhang. She didn't think that the 2 high-level horde leader monsters here, one of which is a Komodo T Rex and the other is a golden ape, were both extremely terrifying high-level horde leader monsters. Help me evaluate my battle record and reconfirm my title, reminded Luo Feng. I killed these 2 high-level horde leader monsters with my own hands. To become an advanced level wargod, you have to hand over the most important materials of these 2 high-level horde leader monsters, and you have to kill them with your own hands. No wargod would lie about this because there's no point in lying. There's no benefit in purposely creating a powerful title. You can't do it without enough strength. For example, the position of examiner. Only those whose strength is recognized by the highest level of the headquarters can get this position. You can't get the position of examiner just because of a title. Alright, the woman named Jiang nodded. However, she was extremely shocked. That's insane. Even if it's just to get the title of Advanced Level Wargod, a weak high-level horde leader monster would be enough. But a Komodo T-Rex and a golden ape, the woman named Zhang was extremely shocked. The woman surnamed Zhang said respectfully, The price of the diamond ape is 8 billion Chinese dollars and 4 million contribution points. And the Komodo T-Rex's price is 12 billion Chinese dollars and 6 million contribution points. Mr. LuoFeng, you can receive a total of 20 billion Chinese dollars and 10 million contribution points. LuoFeng nodded. Actually, selling it to the Dojo of Limits would be a loss in terms of price. For example, the diamond ape could be sold for 12 billion if sold to the HR Alliance. The Komodo Tyrannosaurus was similar to the steel armored dragon, so it could be sold for 18 billion. In other words, if sold to the HR Alliance it could be sold for 30 billion. But on this side there was only 20 billion. Of course, with the addition of 10 million contribution points, LuoFeng immediately reached a 4-star contribution level. Now that I've become an examiner, my status is high, so my contribution points can't be too low. If it's a 4-star contribution point, that's still acceptable, thought LuoFeng. As for 10 billion? Maybe to other advanced level wargods earning money is a bit hard. Even when LuoFeng was in the continent of Australia, he only succeeded in killing the golden ape after a lot of hard work. He failed many times to kill other horde leader level monsters. At that time he was almost an advanced level wargod spirit reader. Even an invincible wargod. If he didn't have the soaring shuttle, LuoFeng's success rate would be lower. And now, invincible wargod. With the soaring shuttle. Killing high-level horde leaders is really easy. However, the instruction manual also has a reminder from the head. LuoFeng still remembered the instruction manual in the box containing the soaring shuttle, the black god set, and the spirits of nature. Do not kill multiple high-level horde leaders in the same area, or else you'll easily attract the pursuit of the emperor-level monsters in this area. Mr. LuoFeng, 20 billion Chinese dollars has been transferred to your fighter account, and your contribution points have risen to a 4-star. The girl named Jiang sat in front of her laptop and typed on the wireless keyboard. After that, she smiled towards LuoFeng. When you become a wargod, you usually join the Palace of Wargods and receive a consciousness sensor. However, the Palace of Wargods will send someone to test Mr. LuoFeng's strength. LuoFeng glanced at the screen. On the screen was LuoFeng's information. In the level column, it was Wargod, Advanced. There was also a pop-up box below which had some words. Palace of Wargods application, examination in progress. In just a few seconds, the girl named Zhang even laughed. Mr. LuoFeng, someone from the Palace of Wargods will come today. They'll be here soon. Beep. An ear-piercing sound rang. LuoFeng and the girl named Zhang both looked over. On the screen of the laptop, another pop-up box appeared. Palace of Wargods exam passed. No one came to test him? How did he pass? The girl named Zhang was shocked. She's been in charge for so long, but this is the first time she's encountered something like this. However, she's heard before that some powerful fighters are recognized by the Palace of Wargods committee and are exempted from the exam. However, these things are very rare. Recognized by the committee, what does that mean? Every representative of the Palace of Wargods highest committee is in existence surpassing the Wargod level. Mr. LuoFeng, someone will deliver the items to the skyscraper in a bit, smiled the girl named Zhang. Okay, LuoFeng wasn't in a rush. After a while, the door to the guest room automatically opened, and 3 men wearing uniforms walked in. One of them, a bald Chinese man, carried a metal box and respectfully said to LuoFeng, Wargod LuoFeng, welcome to the Palace of Wargods. You will receive a consciousness sensor helmet for free. With this consciousness sensor helmet, you can directly enter the virtual space from anywhere on Earth with this helmet on. Consciousness sensor helmet? Of course LuoFeng was familiar with it. He used it in the training camp. Everyone who becomes a wargod has a helmet. Becoming a member of the Palace of Wargods gives you many special rights. Of course, with special rights come special responsibilities. The bald leader handed over the metal box. When Wargod LuoFeng uses the consciousness sensor to enter the virtual space, you'll know the many special things about the Palace of Wargods. Thanks, LuoFeng smiled as he received it. His finger slid across the lock. Beep. The metal box directly opened and revealed the dark blue helmet inside. How familiar, thought LuoFeng to himself. Goodbye everyone. LuoFeng slightly smiled. He put the metal box into the black backpack on his left hand and directly walked out. As he walked out, he said quietly to his tactical communications watch, Number 1, come pick me up at the Limit skyscraper. Time to go home. Jiang-Nan base city. LuoFeng walked towards the elevator. At the same time, the dark blue fighter jet also left the training camp and came to the Limit skyscraper to pick up LuoFeng. In midair above the extreme building, a dark blue fighter jet was slowly descending. This shocked many martial artists who were entering and exiting the building. Whoosh. On the ground, LuoFeng rushed into the sky and swiftly leapt up, as relaxed as a flying bird. With one leap he reached a height of 80 to 90 meters. Of course, with the help of his spiritual force, LuoFeng, who jumped 80 to 90 meters high in one jump, directly jumped into the automatic hatch of the fighter jet under the flabbergasted gazes of the fighters of the Limit skyscraper. Wow. The hatch closed. LuoFeng sat comfortably in the cabin. The lights from the various parts of the cabin made the entire cabin seem dreamy. Number 1, go home, said LuoFeng. LuoFeng already told the AI system that his home was one of the 8 great cities in China's Jiang-Nan headquarter city, Yangzhou city's Mingyue sector. 3D virtual view activate, said LuoFeng. Oh. Immediately, a 3D projection appeared in front of LuoFeng. It was the sky of the outside world. Through the 3D projection, Luo Feng could see the scenery outside at any time and see if there were any flying monsters. Jiang-Nan headquarter city, Yangzhou City, Mingyue district. Early in the morning, Mingyue district was already very lively. Many people had gathered around the entrance of the limit hall. Lao Luo, is your son really coming back today? Didn't old Luo's son go to the headquarters of the martial arts club and say that he will only be back during the new year? Why would I lie to you? My son called me earlier and said that he would be home in about half an hour. Luo Hongwu chuckled. The current Luo Hongwu's face was glowing, and his temperament was much better than before. In the past, he had always lowered his head in front of others because of his hard work. Now he was much more confident and carefree than before. That can't be right, Luo Feng should be on a life and death adventure right now, said Wu Tong on the side. Could there be a mistake? No, my son never lies, Luo Hongwu said proudly. Gong Xianlan was also chatting with a group of women on the side. In Mingyue district, no matter which family's martial artist came back, there would usually be a lot of people welcoming them. Because the path of a martial artist was a dangerous path where one's head hung on the waistband. One day one might lose their life. For example, if Luo Feng was careless in the continent of Australia, he could have been killed by Li Yao's laser cannon. So, every time a martial artist came back, everyone in the community would be very happy. Luo Feng's return, Luo Feng's parents told some of their close friends and brothers. Something's wrong. Wu Tong was puzzled. He was the chief instructor here and knew quite a bit about the extreme training camp. He knew that August was the life and death adventure month. Logically speaking, the students would not go home. There were only two possibilities. One, the student had been expelled. Secondly, the students graduated early. But Luo Feng was only gone for half a year. Why did he return? Hello. Luo Hongwu picked up the phone and showed a hint of joy. I'll be there soon. 5 minutes? Good, my family is waiting here. There are also many uncles and aunties in this district. Luo Feng, he didn't even say anything before returning. A woman laughed. My old Chen often talks about Luo Feng. If we knew that Luo Feng was coming back earlier, my old Chen and brother Zhang wouldn't have gone to class today. Chen Gu and Zhang Ku in the sector are brothers who have been through life and death with Luo Feng. They had gone through life and death together. Look at the car outside, it should be here soon. Gong Xianlan smiled. This Luo Feng will be here soon. He'll probably take a plane to the main sector tonight. The group of people discussed. Everyone thought that Luo Feng took a plane to the main sector, then took a train to Yangzhou. Finally he took a car. Oh. Suddenly. Everyone look. What's that in the sky? Quite a few people in the sector who were waiting for Luo Feng were shocked as they looked towards the sky. A dark blue light pierced through the sky and stopped in the sky above Mingyue sector. Because of the high altitude, the naked eye could only see a tiny dot. However, one could vaguely make out that it was a triangular dark blue fighter jet. Descent. The dark blue triangular fighter jet slowly descended. As it descended, its size naturally became larger and clearer to the naked eye. Why did this fighter jet come to our area? I saw one in the main sector last time. It was shaped like a flying saucer. This one is really weird. Mingyue sector's fighters and their families were all discussing. On the side, the head of the highest position, Wu Tong, looked carefully and his face changed. It's a fighter jet from headquarters. The dark blue triangular fighter jet slowly landed on a grass patch deep within the sector. With a length of over 20 meters, one could only feel the beauty of this fighter jet from a close distance. That curve, that color. It's definitely not something a flying saucer-type fighter jet can compare to. Wow. The hatch opened. A youth wearing casual clothes and jeans walked out of the hatch while carrying a large backpack. Luo Feng. It's Luo Feng. It really is him. Suddenly, the families of the fighters that were staring at this mysterious fighter jet immediately rushed over. Luo Feng saw his parents in the crowd and couldn't help but to smile as he walked over. The group of people passionately greeted him. Dad, Luo Feng walked over. Feng. Luo Hongwu held Luo Feng's hand and looked towards the fighter jet that was parked on the side. Hurry, they sent you all the way here in a private jet. Why haven't you asked them to come down and properly thank them? Head Wu Tong also smiled as he walked over and lowered his voice. Luo Feng, they worked so hard to send you here, don't just come out by yourself. Hurry up and ask them to come out and sit. Even if they don't sit, you should at least thank them. From Wu Tong's point of view, someone who can use the dojo headquarters fighter jet isn't a normal person. Thank them? Luo Feng froze. Oh, tell Uncle Wu and his parents that there's no one here? Many people on Earth don't know about the existence of auto-jets. This is the fighter jet I bought, said Luo Feng. Bought? The surrounding people were shocked. Luo Feng's parents and his brother Luo Hua were all shocked. Buying a fighter jet in this day and age is more than 100 times harder than before the Grand Nirvana period. Keep in mind that many rich people can't even bear to ride on a large passenger jet. One can imagine how many people can afford to buy a fighter jet. Only a few wargods can do it, and almost all of them are regular flying saucer-type fighter jets. Uncle Wu, I'll treat you guys to a drink later, Luo Feng smiled as he greeted the surrounding people. After that, he returned to his home with his parents and brother. The news of him becoming an examiner will soon spread. Since that's the case, it's fine to say that he bought the fighter jet. The fighters' families in the Mingyue sector, including Wu Tong, were all shocked for a while. Holy shit. A little guy like Luo Feng bought a fighter jet? And it doesn't even look like a common saucer-type fighter jet? Everyone was stunned by this news for a while. That's not right. The fighter jet is parked here, so why isn't the pilot coming out? After a while someone finally reacted. At this time Luo Feng had already returned home. Jiang-Nan headquarter city sector, Dojo of the Limits headquarters. Chairman Zhou Xingyong was in a room, sitting on the sofa with a cup of tea in front of him. Examiner Lu. Zhou Xingyong held his phone and laughed. I've caused you a lot of trouble these few years you've been in Jiang-Nan headquarter city. Thank you Examiner Lu for your help these few years. After you leave, our Dojo of Limits will probably be suppressed by the Thunder Dojo in Jiang-Nan headquarter city. You're talking about the new examiner? Zhou Xingyong laughed bitterly. How would I know how strong the new examiner is? I wonder if he can catch up to the one from the Thunder Dojo. The notice hasn't arrived yet, but it'll probably arrive soon. Zhou Xingyong laughed. I'll be in my office. Once the notice arrives from headquarters I'll know immediately. Alright, when I go to headquarters in the future, I'll definitely meet up with Examiner Lu. After that Zhou Xingyong hung up. Just yesterday he already knew that Examiner Lu was transferred back to the world headquarters. However, the notice regarding the new examiner still hasn't arrived. And just now, which is this morning, Examiner Lu received the official notice. And Examiner Lu himself left on a commercial plane last night. Examiner Lu left. I wonder who the new examiner is, thought Zhou Xingyong to himself. Bang, bang, bang. The sound of knocking rang out. Come in, said Zhou Xingyong. The door opened and 3 people walked in. It's Jiang-Nan headquarter city's 3 managers of the Dojo of Limits, Zhu Gutao and the other 2. Chairman, we just saw the notice that Examiner Lu was officially transferred out. Who is the new examiner? The shortest of the 3 managers, a skinny man wearing a white shirt, frowned. I don't know either, the notice hasn't arrived yet. Zhou Xingyong shook his head. With Examiner Lu here, we've been living quite comfortably. Examiner Lu doesn't care about our business at all and only focuses on training. Everyone gets along well. And Examiner Lu's strength is also very strong. If we meet any problems he can easily solve them. The government also gives him face. This new examiner. Will the new examiner be like the Iron Mask Bao Zheng from back then? Zhu Gutao couldn't help but ask. Iron Mask Bao Zheng was the nickname that the manager and chairman gave to the examiner at that time. When Iron Mask Bao Zheng was in office, he fired 6 managers and even impeached a chairman. This made people tremble in fear. I don't know, Zhou Xingyong shook his head. The other 3 managers were also nervous. Since, in terms of authority, examiners are in charge and have the power to supervise. They don't even need approval from above and can directly fire managers and those below them. If they really fight they can even get rid of the chairman. Beep. Zhou Xingyong walked towards the laptop on the side. Notice, yelled Zhou Xingyong. Zhou Xingyong shouted. The other 3 supervisors also ran over and looked at the laptop screen anxiously. With a tap they opened the notice. Luo Feng. Your hometown is Jiang-Nan headquarter city, Yangzhou city? His strength rating is Invincible Wargod. The chairman and the 3 managers exchanged glances. It's the little guy we sent to the elite training camp? Zhou Xingyong couldn't help but to ask, still in disbelief. Invincible Wargod? How is that possible? The 3 chiefs on the side couldn't believe it either. Look at his information, yelled the skinny man. The 4 heads of the Dojo of Limits all stared at it. His identification number is 4261232038060832211, said the tall and sturdy chief. His date of birth is June 8, 2038. A tall and sturdy supervisor said, his date of birth is June 8, 2038, which means that he's only 19 years old this year. A 19-year-old examiner? 19 years old? Chairman Zhou Xingyong, Zhu Gutao, and the other 2 chiefs exchanged glances and immediately went silent. If they were still suspicious of whether it was a senior with the same name when they saw Luo Feng and Jiang-Nan headquarter city's Yangzhou city, they were completely sure when they saw the identification number. Since everyone has their own identification number, the Dojo of Limits world headquarters definitely went through a lot of procedures to make this appointment, so there's no way they got the wrong person. It really is Luo Feng. It really is him. The chairman and the 3 chiefs all had different feelings. Zhu Gutao, on the other hand, had a bit of happiness in his heart. When he first discovered Luo Feng's talent, Zhu Gutao helped Luo Feng. He was just randomly casting his net, but who would have thought that in just a year Luo Feng would become his boss? He's only 19 years old, how did he become a war god and an invincible war god at that? The skinny man was confused. Yu Sen laughed. Zhu Gutao, don't think about it, this notice is definitely correct. This is troublesome, frowned the tall and sturdy man. The new examiner is only 19 years old. If he's not that old, then he probably isn't a mature person. Young people have a big temper. Maybe one of us will accidentally offend him and he'll dismiss one of us out of anger. The temper of young people is indeed much bigger than some of the old guys. Okay, the others, including Zhu Gutao, all nodded. Don't worry too much, laughed Zhou Xingyong. Young people with big tempers aren't good for us. However, this young man is a lot more immature when it comes to dealing with people. If we coax him a bit, he'll be happier. And those old guys are all sly, so it's hard to coax them. The other 3 chiefs nodded. So everyone pay more attention. This Luo Feng is a Jiangnan local. Zhou Xingyong's expression turned serious and he said solemnly, according to the rules for this appointment, the locals are given priority. And this Luo Feng is now an invincible war god, and a local. After becoming an examiner, he'll always be in this position. The three supervisors also understood that even if there was a new inspector from the headquarters, they would definitely not be assigned to Jiang-Nan City. Because Jiang-Nan headquarter city's Luo Feng is a local and an invincible wargod, who has the right to steal his position. This Luo Feng, if he doesn't break through, he'll probably stay in this position for a few decades. And once he breaks through, he will become an existence surpassing the Wargod level investigator. His status is even higher, and he can even dismiss me, the president, with a single word. We have to coax him even more. Zhou Jingyong said solemnly. No matter if Luo Feng breaks through or not, he'll always be above them. And Luo Feng is a local, so he probably lives in Jiangnan headquarter city. Living under Luo Feng's nose, the four of them obviously had to treat Luo Feng well. Don't worry, President. We understand. No one's an idiot, said the three supervisors. Very good, Zhou Jingyong nodded. I'll call Yangzhou City's Mingyue sector and ask. Hello? Zhou Jingyong took out his cell phone and made a call. Wu Tong, your sector's Luo Feng? What? Zhou Jingyong's expression changed as he listened to Wu Tong's description. Zhu Gutao, Yu Sen, and the others also listened carefully and barely heard the words fighter jet and Luo Feng. After a while they hung up. What happened, President? The three of them looked at Zhou Jingyong. Chairman Zhou Jingyong let out a smile. Luo Feng just arrived in Mingyue sector on a triangular fighter jet. And that Luo Feng even said. That fighter jet was bought by him. He bought it? He just got appointed, how could he afford it? The burly man couldn't help but to say. Don't worry about how he bought it. Zhou Jingyong's face sank and yelled, Old Wang, you have to remember from now on Luo Feng is the examiner, the person with the highest authority in Jiangnan headquarter city. So watch your words. Don't say he. If you make him unhappy you'll lose your position. The burly man was startled. He immediately chuckled and said, President, I didn't manage to convert either. We haven't figured out this Luo Feng's temper yet, so watch out. Zhou Jingyong yelled, everyone get ready. In 20 minutes, we'll take a fighter jet to Yangzhou City to see the examiner. Yes. The three supervisors responded. Yangzhou City's Mingyue sector, Luo Feng's home. Luo Feng's family was happily eating breakfast at the dining table. However, the originally lively scene changed because of one sentence from his brother Luo Hua. Bro, you said you won't be leaving this time? What? Asked Luo Hua. I was appointed by the world headquarters to be the examiner of Jiangnan headquarter city's Dojo of Limits headquarters. Luo Feng's one sentence silenced his father, mother, and brother. Father Luo Hongwu couldn't help but to ask. Feng, examiner sounds like a high position, how high is it? Mother Gong Xanlan was also very curious. In the sector, the people that are usually discussed the most are the chairman and the three supervisors. As for the mysterious examiner, they are rarely talked about. Dat Mom? Luo Hua, who was sitting on the wheelchair, recovered from his shock and said excitedly, that's a very high position, even higher than the chairman. In the entire Jiangnan headquarter city, the Dojo of Limits is number 1. Higher than the chairman? Luo Honghua and Gong Xanlan were a bit stunned. They're just commoners. Even though their son is a fighter, the chairman of Jiangnan headquarter city's Dojo of Limits headquarters is definitely a high and mighty figure. To be the chairman, one must be a war god. Moreover, he had to have enough connections to get this position. Their son? Even higher than the chairman? Feng? Luo Honghua and Gong Xanlan looked at Luo Feng. Yeah, Luo Feng nodded. The fighter jet I brought back this time, said Luo Feng. It's worth over 100 billion, and it's something you can't buy even if you have money. In order to let his parents clearly understand his current position, Luo Feng directly told them the price of the fighter jet. This emperor-level autojet is indeed something you can't buy even if you have money. For example, the Home of Limits and the HR Alliance market don't sell this autojet. Even high-level members of the Dojo of Limits, such as examiners and investigators, have a discount of 180 billion. If any other country or power wants to buy it, the Dojo of Limits won't sell it even if it's 200 billion. Keep in mind that this autojet thing is something that only the Dojo of Limits can make. Over 100 billion? Luo Honghua and Gong Xanlan were shocked once again. Holy, how much does the richest man in China have? Keep in mind that Vanina's astronomical 100 billion bounty already caused countless powerful fighters in the world to go crazy. One can imagine that 100 billion is a breathtaking amount of wealth for the richest people in the world. For Luo Honghua and Gong Xanlan, who used to live in cheap rentals. An astronomical amount. Actually, even an invincible wargod can't afford it. LuoFeng's luck was good. He made a fortune from the spirits of nature on the Misty Island. Otherwise, who knows when he would be able to afford and buy an autojet like this. Whoa. Gong Xanlan and Luo Honghua took a long time to blink their eyes and recover. Feng, just how much power do you have and how much money? Luo Honghua asked a stupid question. Power and money? Power? How do I say this? Luo Feng didn't know how to put it. Invincible Wargods are the strongest fighters besides existences surpassing the Wargod level. The amount of power they have is indeed shocking. As for money? For Luo Feng, who has the Soaring Shuttle, killing horde leader monsters is really simple. The Lord-class monster was his ATM. The only problem is, he can't kill too many horde leader monsters in the same area, or else he'll anger the emperor-level monsters in the area. Don't ask about that, old man. Do you even have the ability to spend 100 billion in your lifetime? Gong Xanlan laughed as she scolded on the side. Feng Gong Xanlan couldn't help but to say, I have something I need your help with, look. Mom, just say it, followed Luo Feng. Gong Xanlon sighed. Back then your dad and I both experienced the Grand Nirvana period. At that time your dad and I were still very young. During the Grand Nirvana period human society was in chaos and countless people died. Your father and I became orphans at that time. Luo Honghua, who was at the side, also recalled the past. The Grand Nirvana period. The most painful period of time for humanity. All of humanity's cities were attacked, and some countries were even completely destroyed. I have older cousins, younger cousins, older cousins, said Gong Xanlon. Gong Xanlon and Luo Honghua were both born under the one-child policy, so they were both only children. However, their parents had many brothers and sisters, so they had many cousins, and cousins. When you're on the run you can't even take care of yourself. Who has the time to look for relatives? Gong Xanlon shook her head and sighed, and during the Grand Nirvana period it was extremely chaotic, people lost their identities, there were many who became orphans, single-parent families and lost their parents, there were far too many. Your father and I recorded our names on our own. That era was too chaotic, too chaotic. The construction of the base city, the reconstruction of the country, and everything stabilized will take 10 years. Your father and I both live in low-rent apartments. We don't have the time or money to look for our lost relatives. After becoming an orphan, he cherished his cousins and other relatives even more. Luo Honghua and Gong Xanlon had always wanted to find their family. There were so many family members in the past, there must be some who were still alive. It was just that they didn't have enough power so they couldn't find them. Even the family of a martial artist did not have that kind of ability. Dad, Mom. Luo Feng nodded seriously. Don't worry, I'll investigate all the relatives of my family back then. This was the first thing he had to do after becoming the supervisor, and it was also something he had to do for his parents. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming great videos.